Mahek Bahari was a rising TikToker with over 130,000 followers and was known for her fashion sense. But she found herself in an unexpected situation when her mother confronted her about a messy affair. Mahek, fiercely loyal, took on her mother's ex-lover after he had been resorting to blackmail. This led to an 8-person operation targeting a young man who was more than half her mother's age. But the expected outcome took an unexpected turn which became more chaotic than anyone could have ever predicted. So what triggered such a strong response, and how did this story unfold? Let's dig in.
Who are you? Who are we? We are that bitch. No, you need to be like, who are you? Who are we? We are that bitch. Do that. Okay. Who are you? Who are we? We are that bitch. Okay.
Born in 1999 in England, Mahek Bahari is a British citizen with Pakistani heritage who attended a private school in her early years and later pursued higher education at a well-regarded university, earning a bachelor's degree in fashion. With a TikTok following of 133,900, 38,700 Instagram followers, and 3,900 YouTube subscribers, Mahek gained recognition as a social media influencer under the brand name Mahek Vlogs. Sharing lifestyle, makeup, and fashion tips, she had an estimated net worth of around $250,000. Despite her earnings, Mahek opted to live with her parents and brother in Tunstall, Stoke-on-Trent. Mahek had a strong bond with her mother, Ansreen, who frequently appeared in her social media videos. Their relationship resembled more of a best friends than the typical mother-daughter dynamic. However, what seemed like a close family bond took a dark turn in February 2022, evolving into a story of forbidden love, obsession, blackmail, and ultimately, murder. 3 years earlier, Ansreen, 43 at the time and married for over 20 years with 2 children, started a secret relationship with a younger man named Sahib Hussain, whom she met on a dating app. Despite the affair beginning as a bit of fun and despite Ansreen being more than twice his age, Sahib quickly fell in love. The relationship started in early 2020 and continued on until December 2021. Despite this, Ansreen had no intention of leaving her husband. On December 10th, 2021, Ansreen and Sahib met at a hotel in London where Ansreen explained to Sahib that she had taken things too far. Ansreen valued the time they spent together and expressed her desire to end the relationship, but Sahib refused to accept it. He wanted things to continue, yet Ansreen had made up her mind and ended it against his wishes. In the following days, Sahib pleaded with Ansreen to reconsider and give the relationship another chance. But Ansreen believed it had all been a mistake and didn't want to continue. Sahib, deeply in love, couldn't come to terms with this and bombarded Ansreen with messages and calls which she chose to ignore. Despite his persistent begging, she continued to ignore Sahib, leaving him heartbroken. In January 2022, he made a critical error by adopting a new tactic that would later prove fatal. He chose to blackmail her using sexually explicit pictures and videos taken during their intimate moments at different hotels. Sahib threatened to share these materials with Ansreen's husband and son and post them on social media if she continued to ignore his calls. This threat had the potential to damage Ansreen's marriage, harm her reputation, and even affect Mahek's relationship with her father, given her awareness of her mother's affair. In a message to Ansreen, Sahib said, "You're dumb. I'll send your son nude pictures of you. I'll ruin it. I'll give it when I'm mad. I'm mad. I have nothing to lose. I'll send videos to your whole family. I'll tell your husband everything. You know what I'm capable of. I'm going to send your son one nude of you first. Your son's gonna see them videos now of us in the hotel. Okay, don't say I didn't tell you. I'm giving you a last chance. I'll send it now. Your son's going to see them videos and pics. Are you going to call or shall I make your husband mad? Aware of the situation, Ansreen shared with her daughter, explaining the messages from Saqib. Realizing the seriousness of the matter and foreseeing potential issues if her father learned about the affair, Mahek became upset. She responded by sending a WhatsApp message to Saqib that read, "You little narcissistic bastard. I know what game you're playing. You'll get the message soon. You'll see movement soon. This year, you'll be gone." Mahek then sent her mother a text saying, "I'll soon get him jumped by guys, and he won't know what day it is." By February 2022, Saqib was insisting that Ansreen repay him for the money he had spent on her, totaling around £3,000. The condition was that once he got the money, he would stop bothering Ansreen. Initially hesitant, Ansreen doubted Saqib would stop blackmailing her even after receiving the money, as such situations often result in ongoing extortion. Despite the uncertainty, Ansreen eventually agreed to pay Saqib the money. To handle the situation, she reached out to her friend, Rikan Karwan, asked him to talk to Saqib on her behalf. The plan was for Rikan to meet Saqib and hand over the £3,000 on February 8, 2022. Rikan contacted Saqib the next day, telling him to meet in Leicester to get the money. However, Saqib's sister overheard the conversation and warned him not to go, suspecting it might be a trap. Saqib messaged Rikan asking him to transfer the money to his bank account, which didn't happen. This angered Saqib, and on February 10th, he messaged Mahek, threatening to expose the affair to Ansreen's husband, Mahek's father. Mahek responded saying if Saqib wanted the money, he had to pick it up from her and Ansreen in Loughborough, just outside Leicester. They later changed the location to Leicester itself. Saqib agreed and arranged for a friend to drive him since he didn't have a car. The following day, Saqib's close friend, 21-year-old Mohammed, agreed to drive him to the meeting with Ansreen and her daughter to collect the money. Around 11 p.m, they started their journey in Mohammed's silver Skoda Fabia for the 60-mile trip to Leicester. The planned meeting spot was the Tesco Superstore car park. Initially, they went to the wrong store, waited for a while and realized the mistake, then went to the correct one. Mahek and her mother waited in the Tesco Hamilton car park in Leicester, sitting in a silver Audi TT with Rikan and Mohammed Patel. They were parked near a blue Seat Leon, which held the other four accomplices, Amir Jamal and his cousin, Rais Jamal, Ghulam Mustafa's son, and the Seat Leon owner, Natasha Akhtar. Mohammed arrived in the parking lot at 17 minutes past 1 on the morning of February 11, 2022, and left shortly after. Later, Mohammed Patel disclosed that he and Rikan were waiting by a nearby stairwell. Apparently, Saqib and Mohammed noticed them, arousing suspicion and prompted them to drive away. Rais took the wheel of the Seat and Rikan drove the Audi TT. Both cars then pursued Saqib and Mohammed.
Out from the... I didn't see... All I've seen is they've hit, and all I see is right, like a swerved. The silver car swerved to not my side, to the other side of the dual carriageway where the metal bits are, basically. And I didn't see the car after that. I didn't hear a bang. Apparently there was mention there was a tree. I didn't see no tree. I didn't see anything. I've gone straight on. I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom, what?" I was just in shock. She goes, "Maybe there's a slip road." During
the pursuit, Mahek called Saqib, urging him to pull over, but Saqib refused. Mahek warned him, saying, "Watch what I do to you." As they raced on the A46 at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, Saqib and Mohammed realized the severity of the situation, understanding their lives were at great risk, and in a desperate move, Saqib dialed 999. In the distressed call, Saqib exclaimed, "They're trying to block me in. They've got balaclavas on. They're trying to kill me. I'm gonna die. They're crashing into my car. They're hitting the car really fast. They're trying to ram us off the road. Please, I'm begging you. Oh my God." The call captured a scream and the sound of a collision before abruptly ending. Unreleased footage indicated that both the Audi and Seat attempted to box the Skoda in, but without success. Changing tactics, they rammed the Skoda at high speed. After multiple attempts, Mohammed lost control of the Skoda, clipping a curb before flying into the central reservation. The car split in two and burst into flames. Both Mohammed and Saqib were trapped in the fire. Their bodies were severely charred, making identification possible only through dental records. With no witnesses to narrate the events, the police initially considered it an accident, although they did have the aim of establishing the cause of the accident. On examining the traffic surveillance footage, it became apparent that this was not a simple accident. Detectives discovered something ominous within a few hours of the crash. At 4:45 a.m., the police apprehended Natasha, who was alone in her Seat Leon and driving at the time. A few hours later, the police rushed to the Bahari's residence to question Mahek and Ansreen.
Me and Nayman. No, yeah, we were.
Where was that?
So we stayed here, and then we went straight to Nottingham.
Right. Okay. In the Audi.
Yes, Audi. Yeah.
Right.
After some questioning, both Mahek and Ansreen were arrested on suspicion of murder. Eventually, all 8 occupants of the 2 vehicles chasing Saqib and Mohammed were rounded up. In a police interview, Mahek can be heard giving an account of the night of the crash.
Out from I didn't see, all I've seen is they've hit, and all I see is right, like a swerved, the silver car swerved to not my side, to the other side of the dual carriageway where the metal bits are, basically. And I didn't see the car after that. I didn't hear a bang. Apparently there was mentioned there was a tree. I didn't see no tree. I didn't see anything. I've gone straight on. I looked at my mom and I said, Mom, what? I was just in shock. She goes, Mate, there's a slip road.
Subsequently, all 8 individuals faced charges related to the murders of Saqib and Mohammed. Despite Mohammed Patel providing an honest account of the crash night, he too found himself charged with murder. During the investigation, detectives discovered that following the crash, none of the 8 individuals contacted the police or emergency services to report the incident. Instead, they opted to turn off their phones, drove a bit farther up the road, and assessed the front of their cars to gauge the damage. Astonishingly, they even passed the crash site a second time, displaying no concern for Saqib and Mohammed, who were engulfed in flames. In October 2022, all 8 individuals stood trial for the murder charges. However, due to a jury irregularity, the trial collapsed. Subsequently, they were released on bail and were slated for retrial in May of 2023. After the conclusion of the new trial, all 8 individuals except for Mohammed Patel were found guilty of charges related to murder or manslaughter. Mohammed Patel, however, was acquitted based on his willingness to cooperate and provide information during police interviews. Additionally, on the night of the incident, Mohammed was not with the rest of the group. While the others were collectively smoking at a shisha lounge, Mohammed was at home and only joined them shortly before the incident unfolded. This information suggests that everyone, excluding Mohammed Patel, were aware of the plans that evening. Consequently, he was acquitted under the assumption that he was unaware of the group's intentions that night. Mahek Bahari and her mother received a life sentence with a minimum of 31 years, while Jamal was jailed for 36 years. Reflecting on all the facts of this tragic case, it may be tempting to lay the blame solely at Mahek and Ansreen. While this perspective holds some validity, it's crucial to acknowledge the involvement of others in the incident. Rekhan Karwan and Rais Jamal were the drivers who pursued Saqib and Mohammed, resulting in the fatal crash that claimed their life. Other passengers were also present in both cars, yet none intervened to prevent the drivers from causing the collision. The situation might not have escalated to such a tragic outcome. While this perspective has validity, it's also worth noting that Ansreen ended the relationship and, had Saqib chosen to walk away instead of resorting to blackmail, might still be alive. However, the situation is complex. Saqib's actions were reprehensible. Uncertainty surrounds whether he would have actually shared explicit content with Ansreen's husband and son had he survived the crash. It's possible he used the threat as leverage to recover his £3,000 from Ansreen, or he might have executed the threat something we will simply never know. It's tragic that Saqib paid with his life for his actions, and the heartbreaking part is that Mohammed, who was entirely innocent and just there for transportation, also lost his life in such a horrific way. Both at the age of 21, they had promising futures ahead, making their untimely death truly heart-wrenching. Despite Saqib's wrongdoing, he could have chosen to walk away when Ansreen ended the relationship. He couldn't have anticipated that attempting to blackmail Ansreen would cost them their lives. The mastermind behind all this, in the end, however, is Mahek, and this cannot be overlooked. She manipulated others to carry out her dark plans, with her mother Ansreen also complicit. So, what are your thoughts on this case? Tell us in the comments below and subscribe for more.